Well, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. This is Bobby Brown of the Bobby Brown Show on the Geo. Excuse me. It is 91 degrees in New York City. It is hotter than a mug, and my Streamlabs starting to charge me $20 a month to be able to stream. This is supposed to be an open source free streaming platform. So what I'm going to be doing in the future, especially when they support this Fund Ukraine crap, I'm going to be pre-recording and uploading. I won't be going live until I find me a new live editing software. Think about getting me a MacBook, and I'm going to be using their software versus this stuff right here. But I love Streamlabs. I might have to go back to my regular OBS because this payment stuff is BS. These guys are getting too big for their britches. But today it's not about this story. It's about this story. Now it is official. Keisha Bottom B has been tapped by Biden. For what purpose? Nothing but to set black people straight. He did not tap her to set the Asian community straight on voting for Democrats. Did not tap her to set the Polynesian or whatever, the AIAP or the LGBTQIPCT, whatever. He didn't do. She's not there for that. She's there to set black people straight because they honestly believe that she is a leader in the black community. They honestly believe that she is the Pied Piper of black people on the streets. They actually believes that she has the power to whip up and shape up like she's a general, like she's a sergeant in the military, to set black people straight. And I beg to differ. But let's check out a couple of things that went along. Now, there was a prediction. I mean, the news went out. It wasn't official. And then all the coons began to talk about this great move of Biden. Let's take a look at it. Now, why is Benjamin Dixon on Rolling Bowling Ball Martin show? Fair use, YouTube fair use.
Let's talk about a political move that President Joe Biden made. He has appointed former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms to a senior position in his administration. She is going to be a senior advisor and responsible for Office of Public Engagement. Remember, it was former Congressman Cedric Richmond who held the
Now, Office of Public Engagement means she is going to be directly hired to deal with the public. Now, she ain't got the juice to deal with Asians. She's not going to be dealing with Asians. She might deal with some LGBTQ, but not the overall community of the LGBTQI. She ain't going to be able to try to move and push white LGBTQ down a direction of supporting the Democrats. She is hired strictly to get at black people.
position before he actually left. It was Biden describes Bottoms as tough yet honorable and says she would best fulfill.
She's tough and honorable. Who came up with that conclusion? Who said she was tough? Just because she know how to run her mouth and talk down to black people? Yeah, then again, I guess Biden think he's tough too because he run down on black people too. You ain't black. You got to deal with Hispanics. Forget about me. I'm not going to be able to do nothing. I'm not going to violate the Constitution for you. But I will hook up everybody but you. Stop worrying about me and worry about the Latinos. Tough.
The job. Of course, this continues the appointments of more high-ranking African-American women to the administration. And again, she's excited to take over the position.
So, another reason why the Biden administration tapped her, because he think the more black women I can get involved in my administration, the more black women and possibly black men, if we could have the women to put the pressure on black men, will join the Vote for Biden Again campaign. She don't represent black women. She represent herself. Now, there may be some black women who has her views, but she don't represent black women.
But remember, when Biden won, he really courted her for several positions. She chose not to accept them. And then, of course, she then decided not to seek re-election as mayor of Atlanta. And so
now, let's talk about that for a second. Biden tapped her to be a part of his advisory board, advisory commission, mainly to advise him on how to whip black people into shape. Again, this is be for real. She turned it down because she wanted to run another 4 years as the mayor of Atlanta. But the DNC decided they wanted somebody else. I mean, you could turn us down, but we're going to make you, whether you want to or not. We're gonna make you, because if you want to run for office, you got to go through us. And if we ain't with it, you ain't getting it. And guess what? They was not with it. And guess what? She did not get it. And that's the reason why she decided not to run for 4 years, forcing her in the position that she's going to take any position that she can to keep a job. She ain't going to McDonald's. She ain't flipping no burgers. She probably sit on a couple of boards in Atlanta, but that's about it. But that's not going to be enough for her because she's a power-hungry woman. And the Biden administration forced her to take whatever position they get. First, it was the CNN position. Oh, I'm so happy, excited. Now, she just tweeted this a few months ago. I'm so happy and excited that I'm going to be working at CNN, my dream job. And now she got tapped for this job.
I sent her a text earlier. Hopefully we'll get her on the show to talk about her new position in the administration. All right, folks, back to that Roll Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Nigga, shave.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa.
Doggone commercials,
It's an
man.
Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick.
All these commercials, man. All right, let's let this thing play out because it's not letting me skip. Because Roland Martin is like that.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, black.
These people line. Shut them up right now. None of these people have the grassroots approval. They
own media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
see, they doing that because new black media is whooping their behind. Now let me get to this point. I guess, are we gonna get to some more? All right, so there's that on Rolling Bowling Ball Martin. What is Benjamin Dixon doing up there? All right, so here we go. The White House has a new public engagement advisor. Here's her plan. Keisha Lance Bottom is the new White House senior advisor for public engagement. The former Atlantic mayor, she's former because the Democratic decided to make her former, begins her job at a time when President Biden's approval rating are at an all-time low. Why is it at an all-time low? Because black people's not buying the Democratic Party crap anymore. They're just not buying it. Let me pull up something real quick. See if I can pull it up. Okay, Keisha Lance Bottom, 60th Mayor Atlanta, blah, 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 whatever. FBA woman. Dad used to be a musician, well-known musician back in the day. I want to show something. Is it up here? I'm trying to get to my page. Can I get to my page? Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm messing with Nina Turner about what this album would be called. And I put, what do reparations look like? No reparation cash payment for FBA. Biden the bigot is a friend of mine. Excuses. Violence against women over black genocide. This crime bill of mine, I gotta let it shine. I should have said I'm gonna let it shine. All right, so this is the video I want you guys to hear. This is the reason why Keisha Bottom B. This is the reason why Keisha Bottom B is being tapped. Is now officially dealing with public affairs in the Biden administration, because black people have had enough of Biden's mess. And we got black people trying to straighten up black people who had enough of Biden's mess. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just because you cooning and buffooning and accept whatever they give you, don't get mad at the people who say, nah, we deserve more. We didn't want to put that fool in office, but better him than Trump. And now a lot of people are regretting saying, hey, this Negro ain't no different from Trump. He's just grandpa version of Trump. Our grandpa need to take his keys version of Donald Trump without the nasty mouth. Trump ain't do nothing for black people. He ain't doing nothing for black people. The thing is, Trump then pointed in our face, but Joe Biden is. At least Trump was trying to act like he loved black people. He going, I need you and stuff like that, which we knew was a lie. He ain't like nobody. Stop. Slide. This is why Keisha Bottom have been tapped to be in that position.
Joe Biden keeps tweeting out things like this, how the gas prices are lowering, that, we're not really in a recession.
We are going through a recession right now. You have to actually be out here to actually see the results of what's going on in this recession. And trust me, it is a recession because it is hard for us right now.
So what would you say to Joe Biden, who says we're not really in a recession?
You need to do your homework.
Yeah.
It's real bad out here. It's easy to say it from the comfort of where you at right now. You don't have to go through what we're going through. So it's easy to say that.
Are you happy with Joe Biden as president?
No, I'm not.
No? Do you think he's doing a good job, bad job?
He suck. He ain't doing shit.
Get Joe Biden out of office?
Get him out. Get his ass out. Get him out, coach.
What do you think about the Biden administration redefining the term recession?
That doesn't sound like a recession to me.
This
But-
is the worst recession we've been in. To be honest, we've never had a recession where gas, housing, you name it. At one time, even when people's houses were going into foreclosure, those people that lost their homes could at least still go into a grocery store and buy a regular price item. Now you got houses that are out of control, cars out of control, gas out of control, food out of control.
So technically we're in a recession, but Joe Biden and his administration say we're not. What do you think about that?
He crazy too.
Yeah?
Yes.
Do you think that he's doing a good job or a bad job as president?
Bad job. He making it worse. Hell, we could have kept Donald Trump for this shit.
As a 17-year-old who is in college and high school, I'm in dual credit. If you need help, just let us know, because I'll step in. Because at this point, y'all ain't doing it right. I am a female, so yes, I'm aware of what Trump has done in the past. But as far as running a country, he did better than Biden.
I feel like everything going up, like it's not making sense to me how when Trump was here, everything was low. Like we had like $2-3 worth of gas.
A lot of people are going to actually vote for Trump that never thought. This Oak Cliff, Texas. Trust me, a lot of us will vote for him now than we did before because we went for the good guy saying the right things. But as soon as he got in office, he did everything wrong. He turned around every policy that Trump done.
Now, I'm not going to go any further than that. Trump is horrible. Both of them was horrible. Nina Turner was right. Was acting like eating blank sandwich from another, But there's certain things that Trump would have did that Joe Biden is not doing. And that don't mean I'm keeping for Trump. At the end of the day, we know Biden is not doing well, and as a result of Biden not doing well, the black community is turned off, and they're getting to the point where I can't. Why would I give you another 2 years? Why would I give you another 4 years? You're not doing anything. Why would I get any Democrat another 2 years? You're in the majority, and you can't get nothing done, and you come up with excuses, and you try to come up with scapegoats, talking about cinema and mansion. When you got the bully pulpit, you have the power to apply the pressure on these two to get things done. Because either they're, the bottom line is they're your mule. They're there to do your bidding, because this is how you really think, Joe Biden. But you can't let the public know because you know you won't get elected, but the public know. And that's why your approval rating is down, and that is why they tapped this lady to be president. President Biden promised to bring normalcy back to the White House. Didn't do it. There has been an uphill battle with COVID persistency, historic inflation, and a country that is still very much divided. Last month, Biden brought Keisha Lance Bottom to the White House as a senior advisor for public engagement. She came to the national prominence as a mayor of Atlanta, leading her city through the early months of COVID. Welcome back to All Things Considered. Now here's Keisha Lance Bottom. Thank you for having me. It's good to join you again. Here's the question the lady asked you. Glad you're here. So when it was announced that you were stepping into your new role, you said that you wanted to do more listening than anything else. Now you're a month in. What have you heard and what are you most focused on? Now, who are you talking to, Keisha? If you say you're going to listen, who are the people you're going to talk to? Because the people who are going to keep Joe Biden in office is the black community, because the black community is the one that put that fool in office. Are you going to talk to the LGBTQI who didn't have the numbers to put up to get Biden in office? The LGBTQI, PCTEFG? The Latino community. Did Biden tap you to go into those communities? No, because they ain't going to listen to you. You can't whip them in shape. You can't talk down to them. They will cuss you out. They will ignore you. And guess what? Black people will do that too. So don't you dare think you be in a position like that we going to hear you. But let's see what she said. Well, I can't tell you because you ain't been listening to nobody. Let's go back to the question. Now you're a month in. What have you heard and what are you focused on? Well, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I described the last month as fast and furious. In other words, in other words, you meant to say I described the last month of not doing a doggone thing. It's been so much to learn. And going on into the White House, I don't think anybody can compare for the level of intensity in the White House. You have an extraordinary talented group of people, many who have been doing this work for many years. So it's been important to listen to my colleagues. Colleagues and street are not the same thing. To understand the lay of the land and also beginning to engage with stakeholders, because of the Office of Public Engagement has been described as the front door to the White House. All right, you are there to talk to the public. You're not there to talk to stakeholders, White House staff, advisory, a talented group of people that work there. Your job is to go in there and talk to people. So she's basically saying I ain't talk to nobody. And guess what? She ain't going to talk to nobody. She's not going to go to one barbershop. She's not going to go to one beauty supply. She may go to a church and the church kiss her behind. But she ain't going to go to the streets. She's not going to go to the community centers. She's not going to go to whatever clubs or whatever. She ain't going to the streets. She's not going to the corners because that's beneath her now. She's bougie, uppity black woman now. She's a boule. So in our office, we're engaging stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders, Keisha? And calls and Zooms. And now the White House is opening back up. What do you mean? Why are you not out there with the people? Inviting people back into the grounds of the White House. So it's been a very exciting month and there's so much more to learn. My commitment to the president was to stay through the midterms. So there's a lot of work to be done between now and November, but I'm very excited about the role. You're going to stay there until Joe Biden loses, girl. Your job is not to have people come to the White House. Your job is to go to them. Now here's Summer, the news reporter, asking the question. All right, so I know it's early, but I want to ask you about the ideas of being the front door to the White House, because part of the job is making sure that people feel like their voices and views are reflected and understand within the administration. Can you give us maybe one early example of how you feel like you've done that? Now watch the lies, the gaslighting, and the conning and scheming goes on in them, out of her mouth. Certainly, the president made it very clear that that he has as interested in information flowing from the White House as information coming into the White House. So I've had opportunity to engage with a group of women, for an example, who had written a letter to the president regarding Brittany Griner. Here we go. We're able to have a Zoom call, discuss the concern, and also, reflect the administration position. And that's just one. She probably talked to 3 people who wrote a letter through a Zoom call. That is not public engagement. Folks, if you sit here and let me be quiet. And those types of calls are happening every single day with our team, whether it's people in the rural America that we're holding conferences calls with or holding Zooms. Here we go again with the Zoom. LGBT community. Here we go with the LGBT. I knew that was going to come up. The list goes on. Notice nothing about black people. Nothing about the people, her people, who she has been tapped to try to help keep Joe Biden in business. She got to understand, and somebody need to let her know, a red alert, something, somebody got to let her know that we ain't going to be fooled. You going to have to work, Keisha. You're going to have to work. And it's the work of the White House that often is not seen, of course, on the nightly news in very general way by the public. But it really is a way to connect with people. How? Through a Zoom? High touch is always better than high tech. You're not going to touch the minds and heart of the people through a Zoom call. You got to get out there with them. This is John C. Maxwell law called the law of connection. You touch a heart before you ask for a hand. When have you touched a heart? You're going to ask for the black people to do something for you, but you ain't even touching the heart of the black community. And hopefully in connecting with the people, these hundreds of thousands of people that we're connecting with, is flowing back out into our communities. The only way you're going to flow back out to the community, you get your butt back out into the communities. Before President Biden tested positive for COVID-19 this week, he planned to go to Pennsylvania. Don't sound like he's going to Philly. And part of that trip, he was going to promote a new plan that include, among other things, plans to give funds to community to hire and train 100,000 police officers over the course of 5 years. They want to train 100,000. Let's say 10% of that is going to be race soldiers in 5 years. And I'm just being modest. Help us understand the White House thinking here. Why is that a priority? Why is 100,000 police officers a priority? Yeah, Keisha, I would like to know. Why is it a priority when it wasn't police officers that got them in the office? Well, what we know is that, especially over the course of the last 2 years coming out of COVID, there's been an uptick in crime in our country. That's what they say, and that's what they show. And a lot of that stuff is manufactured consent. People like Mayor in New York, Mayor Adams, they don't house the mentally ill. When somebody get criminally charged, they let them back out to do more work so they can justify why they need to have more funding than defunding. This is historical. Crimes goes up, and then it goes back down, and we have been in an upward cycle. So we know that as long as there's crime in our community, we will need police officers in the community. Crime has always been in our community, always will be in our community, because because the situations people are in, they feel like they got no choice but to try to do whatever they need to do to feed their family. But if you get black people that are resurrected, you won't even give people a $2,000 a monthly check. So she's going to justify that for the police officers being in the community. But also important about the president is rolling out that is not just about putting officers on the street. It's about holding officers accountable. Well, his bill ain't doing that, and he ain't thinking about holding no officers accountable. You were not thinking about holding officers accountable when you were the mayor of Atlanta. Making sure that cities and states have the resources they need so that the officers can do the job that they've been sworn to do, serve, and protect. Now, you know the officers' job ain't that. I can be sworn to serve and protect. What resources are you going to have to force these people to serve and protect? because their job is mainly to serve on you and break your neck. But if, for example, if they encounter someone who experiences a mental health crisis, that funding is in place so that the cities can have the right people on site to access people to provide a resource that they need. We know a lot of crime is driven by substance abuse, unfortunately. They're also funding for substance abuse, and also what we have seen in their funding going towards some of these intervention projects. Now, they'll put that in there. This is me speaking. They'll put that in there as low-level pork to get the whole entire bill passed, which is horrible. And they won't focus on the horrible stuff. They'll focus just on the low-level pork. They kind of appease to you to bring support to this bill. Like the Safety Act, which is another crime bill. And folks, they already got people that does mental stability department. The thing is, they don't dispatch them. So you can have a whole department full of counselors, advisors, psychiatrists, psychologists, or whatever. You can have all that on the police staff, but if you do not dispatch them during those situations, it don't matter. There's also funding for certain blah, 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 blah. Lance Bottom, that have made a tremendous difference in the cities. No, it haven't. What cities are you talking about? Where are your papers on that? Or are you just babbling? And we have great example in Atlanta that we were able to fund the AARP funding. Oh, Jesus. A pilot program that's not being expanded throughout the city. AARP funding to fight crime. You mentioned the midterms, says Summer. So I do want to get to that. Voters nationwide have given President Biden a 36% job approval rating, according to our most recent NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll. And polls also show the majority of Americans say that the country right now is not on the right track. Give us the view from the White House. To what do you attribute that? Now here comes some lying and covering up about to happen. Well, you know, with my role at White House advisor, I'm no longer on the political side. You're always going to be on the political side. Stop. This does not make you a community leader. But I can't just tell you, as a former elected official, that's right, former, I don't think, and you ain't going to ever get elected again. You're not even going to get elected for governor of Georgia or state senate or U.S. Senate. The polls are a snapshot of time. See, now she's trying to downplay the polls. So certainly they are instructive to give you an idea of what people care about, but they really confirm what we know people care about right now. But they are a snapshot of time. Stop making excuses. So I know that the political side will address those concerns. The policies that are coming out of the White House are addressing the concerns of the American people. No, it's not. We know that people are concerned about the economy. They, and some say sure, are concerned about inflation. And then our cities, they're concerned about crime. And that's why this Safer American plan is so important. So Keisha Lance Bottom supports Joe Biden Crime Bill 2.0. Now, most of the people are not concerned about the crimes. We always been concerned about the crime. That has not been new. We don't need a new crime bill to deal with that. We just need to restructure what's going on in the police department right now. We don't need a bill. Enforce what we already have. You don't need a Safer American plan if you're not going to criminalize the police. And then someone say, if I could just, and then Lance interrupted and said, and we also. Someone say, I could jump in. If I could just jump in here quickly, though polls indeed are a snapshot in time, and I understand that you are not on the political side, but if people, this could also, is this a reflection, then a reflection of people who are not feeling heard. President Biden is also facing doubts within his own party. Roughly 75% of Democrats think he's doing a good job, which is low for a president's own party. Well, look, let me tell you something. They say that in public. Most Democrats don't believe Joe Biden doing a good job, but they have to cover. they have to protect, they have to shield, because his loss could be their loss. So they're going to say anything. Here's Lance Bottom with more excuses. Well, I think that we all recognize that the last few years have been rough on us as a country. We faced this pandemic, this once in 100-year pandemic that we have faced in America. So it's been a very uncertain time in our country. But what we do know is that President Biden has spearheaded policies that are making a difference. How, girl? How? Woman, stop lying. An American Rescue Fund, oh Jesus. Here's this all this Biden butt kissing. The American Rescue Fund was a tremendous game changer for cities across America. And that's a piece that I believe many people don't understand coming out of COVID. Cities like Atlanta, cities across America didn't know how we were going to fill the gaps with our operating budgets. We didn't know how we would pay for trash service and police protection and fire protection, this American fund. Oh, you knew how. You knew how. All right, Somerset made the difference. So what that means is that we have now been able to fill it. Somerset, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. I'm sorry to cut you off. We have been speaking to Keisha Lance Bottom, Senior Advisor for Public Engagement at the White House. Thank you for your time. Thank you. So, Keisha Lance Bottom don't know what the hell she's doing. She don't know why she's there. Her job is to connect with the public, but she can't. You can't have a bully connect with the public. You can't have somebody look down on people that's below her, and she believe people is below her or beneath her. Since she became mayor, or since she's been tapped by the Democratic elite as an up-and-coming star, she feels like people are beneath her. Now here's the June 15th announcement of President Biden announced the former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom Senior Advisor. Today, President Biden announced that Keisha Lance Bottom will serve as Senior Advisor to the President of Public Engagement. In this role, Bottom will oversee the White House Public Engagement, will work at the local, state, and national levels to ensure community leaders, diverse perspective, and new voices have the opportunity to inform the work of the President in an inclusive, transparent, and responsible way. Statement from President Biden. Mayor Bottom understands that democracy is about making government work for working families. She don't. Stop. You don't. For the people who are the backbone of this country. She led the city of Atlanta with strength through the pandemic. She had no choice. She tried to use a stick to lead the people of Atlanta. You don't believe me? Now, during the George Floyd protests, her job was not to encourage Biden to come up with an anti-black crime bill and leave it open for police to catch heat too. I mean, all the people came out. All the people came out. We're gonna listen to some of this stuff. All these bombastic people, all they want to think about is protect Atlanta. And Dr. King said that when somebody riots, it's because you haven't heard them. You're not listening to them. You're ignoring them. I'm paraphrasing. And enough is enough. So since you ain't going to hear us, you going to see us. Now, Keisha didn't provide any solutions. All she said, stop. Stop it. And let me tell you something. This is the same energy this lady's going to bring to you when it comes to the thick and thin of the Biden election. She's going to be just like Obama. I consider it an insult. Look here. Look here. My people. Black people. This is what he said at the NAACP thing. Black people. I consider it an insult Yeah, give me time. I think I can find these people are down talking us instead of talking to us because we don't want to put them in power. Let me see if I can find that video. Obama at the NAACP event. What was that? 2016? 2016, right? 2020? Was it 2020? I think it was 2020. No, 2016. Let me put to black people. I mean, I consider this one of the most insults of Obama's lifetime. And I might have to fast forward some of this stuff. I consider it an insult. See, this is how these people talk to us. Now, who are you to talk to us like that? I might have to fast forward this. This is the speech. I remember the speech.
Hello. It did not happen by accident. But that is an extension and a reflection.
Let's see.
Street corner. God redemption. When America's unemployment rate was 9%, bear the entire pardoned criminals.
Okay. And this is when he was concerned about his legacy.
Mean that we will turn everybody's life around. And
let me see. Here come these doggone commercials.
Like drug courts and is in the.
Oh God, I wish I could find this.
Sense.
He considered it insult.
Criminal Justice Department presence. We've got to make sure that they're in a position to make the turn. And that's why we should not tolerate conditions in prison that have no place in Maryland.
All right, guys.
That's short-sighted. Those investments, and that has to change. All of them had amazing staying out of trouble. Could have been worse. 3.95. I see those young men and also know we are not perfect, but we have the capacity. That's how you win the race. That's how you fix a broken system. That's how you change a country toward a more perfect union.
All right, I can't find it. But in this speech, he considered it an insult. But let's go to Mayor Bottom and what she had to say about the riots. And I'm telling you, this is her mindset. This is who she is. She believes she's a strong black woman, tapped by Zaddyisms, tapped by the Democratic elite, rubbing the shoulders, up and coming, possible first black female president, and it's getting to her head. And this is what she had to say. Now, this is a protest, and people on the streets are saying, hey, she need to shut up. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
But right now, and a protester in front of me telling me that they don't all agree with this, and we actually just spoke with someone who had the same sentiment. And you're... Some of us believe that CNN is fair and just. No. Some of us believe that CNN...
Coming in soon, T.I.
Keisha Lance
killed
Bottoms
Mike
and
as well
Police Chief
as shot
Eric
Jessica Smith behind her to the right wearing the mask.
There may be some others joining us. Let me just speak to what's happening here today. Above everything else, I am a mother. I am a mother to 4 black children in America.
Now, as she tried to get you to believe that she cares, at the same time, she's going to be shouting at you and screaming at you like she's your mother. She might well say, I'm a mother of millions of people in Atlanta. No, you're not, lady. Where your daddy? Where your mama? We put you in office. We could take you down. And we would have took you down. Too bad the Democratic Party told you not to run for election again because you would have lost. The polls were not in your favor. You would have lost. That's why you don't like polls.
Of whom is 18 years old. And when I saw the murder of George Floyd, I hurt like a mother would hurt. And on yesterday when I heard there were rumors about violent protests in Atlanta, I did what a mother would do. I called my son and I said, "Where are you?"
Violent protests. There's not many protests that are violent. They will call anything violent. If a police throw a rock or shoot somebody with rubber bullets or hose them and the people fight back, they will call that violence, a violent protest. When the people were not the aggressors, it was the law enforcement officer that was aggressors. They put a barrier down and dare you to come cross it, and you decide to come cross it, and they want to shoot you. It's just like these cops when they get filmed with the camera. They tell you they're trying to pass a law that you got to be 8 feet away from them. Yeah, but who determines the distance? Because every time I step back, he stepped forward.
I said, "I cannot protect you, and black boys shouldn't be out today." So you're not going to
So in other words, she's telling her kids, don't participate in what's going on in the streets. There's violent protests. Don't participate in what's going on in the street. Now, had the mothers in the 50s and 60s, what would it look like for them to tell them, don't go out there? No, they would have said, look, this is how change takes place. Sometimes you got to put your life on the line. You can't be no punk. It is worth getting in the face of the aggressor and pushing back against that aggressiveness of the aggressor. You can't do that sitting at home. I'm keeping my 2 boys in the house. You and your 2 boys should have been out there protesting this murder. This cold-blooded murder from a white man, police officers, while a Asian man stood and blocked people from intervening, who should have got the same crime, same time, just for being a person that was stopping somebody from trying to stop a murder.
Concern me and out care about where we are in America. I wear this each and every day, and I pray over my children each and every day. So what I see...
Who don't? Who don't wear this on them when they got children? You don't think those people out there don't have children out there? You don't think there's people out there who don't have children? You don't think there's people out there who don't have their children with them? That's not punk enough to fight back in the streets? No, you're a punk. You're a weakling. Oh, we're just going to stand by and I might say something, but I want you at home. These people got their kids out there on the streets, pushing back, protesting against what happened. They're willing to sacrifice themselves to say enough is enough. But you're trying to tell people, no, stop this. This is not how we do it. Who are we? Let me keep going. Let me stop talking. I'll try to let all this play. I stop every now and then so I don't get copyright strikes.
Happening on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta. This is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr.
Who in the hell are you to define what a protest is? And who in the hell are you to say this is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King protests peacefully. But when they got to throwing the rocks and stuff, some of these people was fighting back. Only cowards sit there and let somebody crack their head. John Lewis. Only cowards allow them this. Oh, you calling coward? That was a coward move. You have to fight back. You don't just let somebody just do these things to you. You do your best to march peacefully. But when the aggressor starts clapping on you, you have a right to clap back. You don't have to stand there and let them do it because it continues to show weakness. And it wasn't a nonviolent protest that caused the real change. It was the amount of people that was joining the protest that caused the change. And do you know after Dr. Martin Luther King was shot in the head blown right off his shoulder, off his neck, a lot of people saw the images. And the images sparked protests. It's hard to find these images now. Shot his head. Shot. Not a bullet in the head. I mean, blasted his head off. People took to the streets, and it was aggressive, and it was violent. And if somebody came out and talked like this, they would have told her to go to hell.
This is chaos. A protest has purpose. When Dr. King was assassinated...
So you trying to say these people are not doing this for a purpose? They're not out there for a purpose. They were out there because they're sick and tired of cops killing people innocently and not getting, first of all, killing people innocent. Second, not doing the time for killing people innocent. Who's innocent? And whether you're innocent or guilty, you don't have to kill nobody. Killing should not be the first step, second step, or third step. The only way you defend yourself and put yourself where is when you feel like your life has been threatened. And in this case, nobody's life was being threatened.
That we didn't do this to our city. So if you love this city...
Where the heck she's been? When Martin Luther King died, of course you didn't do this to the city. But other cities were burning like fire. And yeah, some parts of Atlanta was burning like fire. So what the hell is she talking about?
This city that has had a legacy of black mayors and black police.
What that got to do with anything?
And people who care about this city, where more than 50% of the business owners in Metro Atlanta are minority business owners.
What that got to do with anything?
If you care about this city, then go home and pray that somebody like...
Instead of saying if you care about the city, stop the aggression on the businesses. Now, a lot of these protesters were infiltrated. Whether it was Antifa, whether it was the Proud Boys, or whatever. All I know, it was infiltrated. and taking over. Just like the Black Lives Matter movement. Anytime a Black Lives Matter march go forth, it goes forth in peace, and all of a sudden some people gotta infiltrate themselves in and do heinous stuff to make the entire group look bad. That is why I am not for making these things organizations. The Black Lives Movement should have never turned into organization. Just like I believe the ADOS lineage should not be turned into an organization, because it's easy to infiltrate. You can have people that's not FBA claiming to be FBA in the group. Because you turn it into an organization. Keep it a lineage. You got organization with chapters, just like Black Lives Matter movement is an organization with chapter, and it's being destroyed to this very day. So instead of her saying, stop destroying the businesses, and if you get caught destroying the business, we're going to do such and such. No, she wants you to just stop the whole thing. Stop.
Like Reverend Beasley will come and talk to you and give you some instructions on what a protest should look like.
Reverend Beasley need to come talk to you. She sound like she's somebody's mother. I'm gonna get the pastor to come and talk to you because you acting like a demon. Nobody don't need this. The pastor is not the PhD on what a protest look like. A protest doesn't have a certain look to it, girl. A protest is a protest, and there's many types of protests. So sit your behind down. Now, again, folks, a lot of white people got involved with this protest, and they the one decided to do all this crazy stuff. But don't get me wrong, it was some black people who were just upset, angry, and mad. Now, the worst thing in the world, I believe, is for you to tear up your own neighborhood. Because the aggression is not there. The aggressive is outside your neighborhood. The powers that be, the forces that are against you, are not usually in your neighborhood. That's my only big difference. But let's get back to it.
And how you effectuate change in America. This police chief made a video on yesterday, pull it up on YouTube, where she said she was appalled to watch the murder of George Floyd.
Any white bigot could say, I was appalled to watch the murder of George. Folks will say anything to get you on their side. Folks will say anything to get you to gravitate toward them. She ain't gonna say she was happy. I was excited that somebody killed George Floyd. She ain't gonna say that, because that will be her behind. We'll be calling for her to step down. And here she is trying to cape for her instead of caping for the black people on the streets that's protesting.
This woman did that. You're not honoring the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement. You're not protesting anything running out with brown liquor in your hands, breaking windows in this city.
Now, you see how she talked to black people, because the majority of Atlanta is black. You see how she talked down to you like she's your mama, like she's your daddy. Now, you don't want to put her in office, people of Atlanta. You didn't hire her to be your parents. You are her daddy. You are her mother. She would be nothing without you. Yet she talks to you just like Joe Biden talks to you. Just like a lot of Democrats talk to you. How can she say these things? That you're not operating the spirit of Dr. King. Dr. King already explained to you that even though I am for a non-peaceful way, I understand why people do this. I don't encourage it. I don't endorse it. But I understand. He didn't sit down there and down talk and point the finger and pull down his pants and open up his butt cheeks and take a dunk on his people. But she sure is. And this is the person that they tapped to be involved with office.
T.I. and Killer Mike own half the West Side. So when you burn down this city, you're burning down our community.
Now, look, I'm not for burning down all our community. I'm not for burning down your own community. And so, and again, big ups to T.I. and big ups to Killer Mike. Buying property. They can. See, they got it going good. The people there don't. So you think just because T.I. own businesses there, Killer Mike, that's going to solve my struggle? Did T.I. or Killer Mike give me a job? Killer Mike over there kissing Bernie Sanders behind? What are they doing for me? What are they doing for my family? What them owning all this property do for me? Police still killing. That don't stop the police from killing black folks in the street just because they own property. Well, you shouldn't mess with their property. Nobody's thinking about nobody's property right now. We're angry, and you guys are not listening to me. And instead of you talking to the Biden administration, the Trump administration, or whoever about criminalizing these police officers that do stuff like this, you gonna shame the community. Instead of you advising the community on protesting and say, look, I don't mind you protesting. Get it all out. Just don't damage our businesses. Just don't. If you do, we'll be forced to do such and such and such. I'm advising you, don't damage our building. Do what you got to do, but don't damage. No, she wants to stop everything. I'm almost done.
If you want change in America, go and register to vote.
Here we go with this crap. If you want change in America, go to register to vote. People have been voting all their life and you haven't seen any change. So in other words, if you want change, register to vote. Now the next thing gonna come, if you want change in the black community, vote Democrat. Look at her tone. Registering to vote is not the pinnacle of change. It's you showing your power on a grassroots level that forces change. Protests force change. I'm not saying votes don't help you get the right person in office that's going to create legislation or pass legislation to cause some change. That's slow change. A lot of them, once you register and get them in the office, they ain't trying to change jack like Joe Biden. So you register for what? People have registered and voted Lance Bottom, and his brother still getting killed. Since George Floyd, a brother got killed, shot 60 times, innocent, nothing in his hands. Riddled with bullets. I can go on and on. Your voting ain't changing that. Now you're applying political pressure on the streets and letting them know that we will boot you out of power if you don't. That is the change. Registering to vote don't mean nothing. You can be registered to vote, but if you don't use the power of the vote or the power of not voting, it's not going to make a change. You got to threaten these people. Your vote is a hot commodity that they need. And if they want it, you got to say, I'm registered to vote and I'm not voting. I'm voting you out. Now let's get this straight. I'm not telling nobody never to vote. Voting is important. I'm telling you on how to vote. You vote for the people who will push your agenda. That's smart voting. That's intellectual vote. You don't vote because you're a Democrat or because you're a Republican or that's what our ancestors do or blah, blah, blah. No, you vote for political. You vote for power. You want power to come to your community. You want power. Look at her face. And she mad because this is her city and they're making her look bad. That is why she's saying that. She looks stupid. She looked bad, and this is making her look bad. T.I. and Mike can get over their business. They got insurance. They'll recoup. Now, nobody wants to go through all that paperwork and all that, but they're going to recoup. She can't recoup from this. So she had to go out there and appear to look tough, and this is what attracts the Biden administration, thinking she can do that there in Atlanta and save Atlanta. She can do that, save my presidency. Not because she don't represent us. We represent us. We don't find our power in the leader. We find our power in being on code. And this is hell of a off code. You're trying to stop a process that must take place to send a message that enough is enough, because the way you're doing it, don't do it.
Show up at the polls on June 9th.
And what?
Do it in November.
So she's going to use this as an opportunity to tell people to vote blue no matter who. Show up at the polls. Do it in November. Let's get Biden in office to stop all this foolishness. Stop all this foolishness. Go and register to vote. Stop all this protesting. Go register to vote. Folks register to vote. They still killing people on the streets. Joe Biden is in office. He haven't done anything to criminalize police. He came out with an anti-Asian hate bill and came out with an anti-black hate bill. And you got black Negroes like Roland Martin all that trying to make an excuse. We already got something right there. And we do. But what's the use of having something you ain't going to enforce it? So in the general bill, and you're not enforcing it, then we might need to get like the Asians and ask for a specific one, since you're ignoring the one that's in general. And if we have to take to the streets, and we have to protest or whatever to get that done, then that's what we got to do, Miss Lance Bottom. And if you get in the way, you'll get ran over. If you think you're going to get a White House position and talk to us like this, you got another thing coming, lady. Because we will tell you to shut your mouth and go to hell. You're nobody's mama. You don't run jack here. When you're the mayor of Atlanta, that don't mean you ran the people of Atlanta. You ran the administration of Atlanta, but you didn't ran the people.
That is the change we need in this country. You are disgracing our city. You are disgracing the life of George Floyd and every other person who has been killed in this country.
In other words, it's not the white supremacists that's a disgrace. It's not the laws that are a disgrace that don't criminalize this mess. It's not the law. It's not none of that. It's you. And this is the one that the White House tapped to be involved with public affairs. The Biden administration wants her to be able to whip you in shape, talk to you like this, give you tough talk. She got another thing coming. You ain't coming over here talking that stuff. We will silence you in a minute. We will shut you up in a minute. Your mouth is not bigger than all of ours. I got a microphone too, and many others have a microphone too. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to George Floyd because you're trying to stop a protest that can push progress quicker than a freaking vote at the poll. Voting at the polls does not simplify or signal progress. There's more progress that has been done for black people based on public aggression from the grassroots than going to a voting booth. Now, don't get me wrong. I said voting is important. Voting has its perfect place, and you got to be strategic on how you vote and when you vote and who to vote for. You got to become a voting block. You got to stop giving power to these people who ain't doing nothing for you, and you got to let them know you haven't been giving us any power, so therefore you have no power over us right now. So I'm looking to get you out of office. You got to put that threat out there. You can't sit there and say vote blue no matter who. When you say stupid stuff like that, you're giving them the power not to do a doggone thing vote for you. And I got to get out of here. I'm supposed to be somewhere. I got to hurry up. Let me finish this. Look at her. Look at her. As Vicky Dillard would say, whether you agree with her or not, League of Mammies. She is doing the same thing. And I love to use this character, even though it's a fictional character. It signals real people in this world. She is the Democratic version of Stephen from the Django. I'm here to whip the plantation in order. Get yourself back on that field and stop this foolishness. Master Candy don't like this. Or Master Biden, Master Candy. This is not what Master Candy don't like this. She know that boy Django. Mm-hmm.
We are better than this. We're better than this as a city. We are better than this as a country. Go home. Go home.
You hear her? In other words, start the pro. Dr. Martin Luther King did not tell his people to go home. He did not talk to his people like that. He did not stop the aggression. He just said, I'm peaceful. I mean, if people go out there and do that, they have to. And hey, if you go out there and do stupid stuff when you're protesting, then you have to pay the penalty for it. Same thing she could say. Look, I don't encourage you to go out there and do stupid stuff. I'm admonishing you not to do stupid stuff. We've already came to agreement that if you do this and this and that, you will get locked up and you will serve this amount of time. So I'm not telling you to stop protesting. I'm not telling you to stop pushing for a wrong to be right. But I'm just telling you, you don't have to be a criminal in the process by damaging property. You can go damage the property, but this is what you're going to get. She is totally opposite of Dr. King. She is totally opposite of the civil rights movement. She is an enabler. She is trying to stop progress. She's trying to get you to believe the only way you progress is by joining the Democratic Party and voting blue. And that's what she's hired to do in the Biden administration, dealing with the public.
In the same way I couldn't protect my son on yesterday, I cannot protect you out in those streets.
Which nobody asked you to protect us. We built for this. Like Biggie said, we ready to die. We not punks out here. FBA are not punks. Black people not punks. If if we got our head cracked, protests, got our arms blown out of proportion over a water hose, had dogs bite us and stuff like that, we were willing to die for change. You are willing to stay at home for nothing to change. You think the only way things change if you vote blue, no matter who, registered as a Democrat and vote for Joe Biden. See, Donald Trump didn't kill George Floyd. A racist, bigot, race soldier killed him. And whether Donald Trump was in power or not, these people have always been in the police force. They've always been doctors, lawyers, and whatever. The problem is we haven't built an administration that's willing to design something to root them out. And instead of focusing on dealing with that, she want to talk at the little people. The people who are upset, the people who are frustrated. The people who said we voted and nothing changed. And then you want to tell us to vote more and thinking that it's going to change. And Sandy is doing the same thing over and over and over again, woman. And we ain't insane like you are.
You're throwing knives at our police officers. You are burning cars.
I don't condone throwing knives at police officers, but police officers shooting rubber bullets, police officers doing things to you, and you're just an innocent bystander. Police officers see you standing in the road and they decide to run you over. Why don't you say something about that? Why don't you be both sided? Okay, you throwing things, you're trying knives at police officers and stuff like that, which I don't know if that's true. She could be making that up. I don't think too many protesters go out there with weapons like that. You know, I mean, you might have some protesters with weapons because they want to protect themselves from somebody doing something to them. Like when FBA go to Washington D.C., we expect some black armed black groups to come out there to protect us because we're not dependent on the police to protect us. She could be making this stuff up.
You have to face the CNN building.
She getting mad because the now, mind you, she real upset over that because she trying to get a job and she got a job there. Don't nobody care about the doggone CNN building, girl. She's crying more over CNN building being defaced than those people out there being defaced. She cared more about a CNN building than the hurt and pain that's going on with these people there, red, yellow, black, or white. See, we had everybody out there. Shout out to the white people, black people that did care, and the Asians and the Latinos that did care about this incident. Shout outs to you. People think FBA people don't like other people. No, we just on a mission to get a certain thing done, and when somebody get in our way, we gonna clap back at you. Don't mean we don't love you. Don't mean we don't care about you, because we do. We've always supported you in what you want to get done. We even put our energy behind it. You know, when it comes to this reparations, either you're going to support us or get out of our way. If you stand in our way, we're going to run you over. Stop. That don't mean we won't hate you. Now, if you come talking this foolishness, we might cut back on you and joke and call you names back and forth, but it's all in love. You can call us name, we can call you a name, and we ain't going to be mad and think you hate us and stuff like that. You know, I mean, come on, we could do this all day. They call it a dozen. Talk about each other, and at the end of the day, hug each other and love each other. At the end of the day, African diaspora, you are black brothers, and we love you. But recognize who we are and what we built for you to come into this country. Let me get off that. Let's get back to Keisha Lance Bottom. See, it's stuff like this we had to deal with. And we got old coon zaddy loving people over here. Yeah, she can be a zaddy. Even if she got a black husband, she can be a zaddy.
Turner started CNN in Atlanta 40 years ago because he believed in who we are as a city.
She defending the news company.
There was a black reporter who was arrested on camera this morning who works for CNN. They are telling our stories, and you are disgracing their building.
This witch more worried about a building than CNN instead of what the protesters. She cared more about protecting the building than the protesters. And this is what Joe Biden tapped to get us straight.
This is not the legacy of civil rights in America. This is chaos, and we're buying into it. This won't change anything. We're no longer talking about the murder of an innocent man. We're talking about how you're burning police cars on the streets of Atlanta, Georgia. Go home.
Now, I want y'all to look at this face. And I'm in it here. Man, them people over there overseas, they tear up the whole freaking city and things get done. They tear up the whole, they're going, you talking about people who did something to the Capitol here, which I don't endorse, but those people they go into the Capitol and turn over there, all in the name of change. And a lot of times they get things changed. Now, I don't support that in America because we have laws here in America. But these people didn't care about the laws. They burnt up police cars. They went after the police. Why? Because they were frustrated. All they wanted was change, and the government was not listening to them. And the government was doing the same thing that you're doing. Look at her face. This League of Mammies face. I dare you shame me. This is all about her. This ain't all about the people. It's all about her. Her image and her connections. This ain't got nothing to do with the protesters. She's mad because y'all made her look bad. Y'all shamed her. This ain't got nothing. This is chaos. Protests can lead to chaotic situations because they're tired of the chaos that's going on to them. This ain't about George Floyd. No, it ain't about George Floyd. It's about you, that your city decided to go off. They say they fed up with it. They tried everything. They tried peaceful protesting and everything. Let's try something else. They got a little more aggressive, and you are mad because it's happening to you in your town, and it's going to make your legacy look bad. And as a result of it, Democratic Party told you not to run for another 4 years, but they did promise you a position. You got a resume at the CNN. You always wanted to work over there. You care more about the CNN than the people out there. Guys, I'm done. Keisha Bottom B has been tapped by the Biden administration to set black people straight. See, this is her attempt to set black people straight. Because the majority of people in Atlanta is black. They figure her tough talk can get us in line. And that's that's a doggone lie. Who the hell are you? You're embarrassed because protesters hit the street. You think it's all about Atlanta. You think it's all about, no, it's about aggression, that we've had enough of the police department thinking they can just do anything to us and get away. And we had enough of you guys covering up for them. And you had not, oh, they putting our cars on fire, police cars on fire. Heck, we'll put our own car on fire. You think they care about another doggone police car? These people said their own cars on fire. They're upset, they're mad, they're angry. And all they ask is that you listen to them and stop being condescending and talking down on them. You're not helping the situation, lady. Folks, the Biden administration got these buffoon coonish people. They want to put them in power, thinking that they can control you. You guys need to let Keisha Bottom B know in her Twitter space, you don't represent me. You ain't going to talk to me like you talk to those people in Atlanta. If anything, we're going to talk to you. Now, you got a position that was handed to you, so we can't vote you out of that position. But we can by voting Biden out of position. And if Biden out of that position, you're out of a job. Biden need to understand putting her in this position did not help him at all. Your approval rates suck. You putting her in that position going to make it worse. We don't want you putting in place condescending people. She ain't trying to listen to us. But whether she try to listen to us or not, we got a message for her. Your position has no effect on us. Either you listen to what we say and do what we say, or we're going to get you and your boy out of office. We're going to get you and your boy out of office. You're not going to come in a position condescending down, talking nobody up in here. We didn't listen to you back then. You wasted your energy and your breath. We didn't listen to you back then, and we ain't going to listen to you now. So you can take your lily black. Let me stop. You can take that mess somewhere else. You can go ahead, kill your butt somewhere else. Because we ain't listening to you. Your mouth will never work on the grass community. Recognize that, chick.